I want to share with you an example where I started to reimagine what communication was. It was when I was sort of completing some of the research, which I'll tell you a little bit about later, and I was starting to experiment with the framework. So I had a meeting. There was me. I was a consultant. I was working with the CEO of a company, and I wanted to bring in a third party for a technology solution. And it was very important for all three of us to work together. And I wanted to discuss this partnership with the CEO. All three of us had to work together. So using AQ, metaphors are one of the answers. So I Googled on the internet, metaphor and partnership, and I found a three-legged stool. And I said, that's sort of interesting. I'm going to try that. So I went to meet with the CEO, and I simply said, the three of us need to work together. It's like a three-legged stool. If one of the legs, comes out, the entire stool is going to fall down. And that's basically what I said. I bit my lip and I was like, I don't know, is that going to work? And sure enough, it did work. How do I know it worked? Because 1 week later, unprompted, I went back to the CEO and he communicated that metaphor back to me. So I knew he got it. And I was getting excited because this is really one of the first confirmatory moments I had for the framework. And answer intelligence is about mapping questions to answers. So real quick, what did I experience? The question I had was, what is a partnership? That was the question I wanted to address for the CEO. I provided the metaphor worked. Then I started thinking about it and I was curious, why did the metaphor work? I'm a professor and I've been in class of students, and sometimes their metaphors fall flat, sometimes they work, and I wasn't really sure. Then it dawned upon me that the metaphor worked because all of the other answers I provided worked and they supported each other. And this simple metaphor had credibility because it was consistent with all my other answers. For example, I discussed why is the partnership important with the story. I shared a story about this third-party software firm about how they work well with others. In terms of theory, I explained why the partnership was important because it related to their theory or business strategy to do this partnership. I explained and defined what a partnership was as a concept. I broke it down. Then I explained how the partnership was going to work. I talked about the procedure, which is steps or process. I talked about, the 3 steps of how this relationship was going to unfold. I had a project plan. Then I talked about how the partnership was going to work in terms of actions. So I described key actions that were going to allow the partnership to succeed. So this is my first introduction to AQ, and I was able to influence the CEO. And so this is how I first started to believe in AQ.